Hello all newcomers and welcome back fellow Eternians. As always it's me Emperor AP and today I have built myself an automatic coil winder because I want to make a super high voltage transformer. So this automatic coil winder is set up with a 9-volt battery connected to 30 ohms of resistance, and all of that is attached to this DC motor which is connected to our bobbin here. Now our bobbin is going to be the thing that we wind our wire around, and we want a whole bunch of turns on that wire, on that bobbin, so we want to make sure that we have very thin wire. This is 45 gauge wire. It's about as thin as a human hair, and we're going to have that thing wind very fast around that bobbin so that we can get as many turns as possible. We're going to zoom in as much as we can on this little thing here. As you can see, this stuff is very tiny, and we are going to wrap it around just a few times. Let me get a better up close image so you guys can check that out. See that? So as you can see, we have our wire here. We are going ahead and winding that around the bobbin a couple times just so that we can get it secure and started here. Once we really get to winding, we need to make sure that it's well in place to move smoothly along like we want it to. If it's not moving smoothly, we're going to get into this issue of repeatedly having it tangle around itself and break and cause a whole bunch of issues that we don't want. As well, because this is copper wire, it's wanting to bend and flex around in my hand, and with it being so tiny, I can't hold it. Doesn't have much weight to it, so I can't just weigh it down onto the bobbin. This is an incredibly difficult little process to get going, but once you do, all you really have to do is wind it around 2 or 3 times, make sure it's secure, and then you can get to winding your actual bobbin. So we're going to go around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times just like that. Then we're going to take this stuff and we are going to tuck it right into our bobbin. Okay, now that we've got our bobbin hooked up, we can start winding it. Trying to get it finally adjusted. There we go. Our wire keeps coming out of our little bobbin here, wanting to fly free. Hold on. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a couple starter winds to be safe, make sure it's doing what it needs to be doing. I'm also going to, just like that, untangle its initial first wind or two to make sure that it's still doing what it needs to be. As you can see, it can get unwound in those first few winds very easily, so we're going to make sure that that stiffens up a little bit more because we're trying to make this one long continuous loop, and if for any reason this stuff breaks, it is a headache to have to try and fix, because we have to rewind the coil. Okay, so we are starting off, getting our first few turns on there, and it looks like we have got it started. So we're going to go ahead and get into our wind. As you can see, there's our coil and our wire. When I attach this together, okay. As you can see, it can wind our coil very fast. Our little bobbin gets filled quite quickly, and I can adjust the height with my hand as well. In this initial prototype, I'm not doing too much to make it a very clean process, but I'm doing what I can to get it started. And as you can see, that leaves us with a nice and beautifully wound coil. This is probably several hundred turns here. And it's absolutely just a great piece of work. You know, hand winding these things is incredibly hard, and with such thin wire, you really have to be careful. So this is a great thing for us to have as a part of the Empire, and something that I am really looking forward to. I'm going to go ahead and show a little bit longer of it winding, but this is getting to be where we need. This is going to step up many times. So if you see our next video talking about our high voltage transformer, this is going to be where its coil came from, and we'll talk more about that in the coming up video on it. And this ends up being what we're finished with, guys. A very nicely wound coil. Now, this thing is probably quite a few thousand turns, so this is something that would have taken me hours potentially by hand, and I am so glad that I was able to create this. If any of you guys are interested in watching a build on this, please let me know, because I am excited to show it off. And other than that, thank you guys for learning a little bit about the technology here in the Empire of Aeternia, and I will see you next time. Peace, guys.